Amanda's Parade and Parade Handmade. This week is going to be a little bit different due to data crunching during the week, analytics and such, but more to do with time. It's Paddy's weekend here in Ireland, so there's a lot going on. My head is shot between making plans, breaking plans, rearranging things and such and such. It always gets a little bit hectic, but it will do that for me anyway because I've already crammed my head full of everything else. But it's all good, so I'm just kind of riding the wave, so it's great. So for this week, I'm going to do a little bit of discussion about Shopify. I've been doing a lot of maneuvers and questioning and sorting out of my Shopify site, which is Parade Handmade. Then I'm not going to bother with Etsy. The next thing I'm going to do is a little tutorial on making these little cluster earrings. I made them for a friend of mine. She doesn't know yet. It's a little surprise, but I just thought they'd suit a little scarf that she was wearing a few days ago. So I'm going to give her those for Paddy's Day, which is tomorrow, Friday. I didn't even hardly realize it was Friday. I always think it's going to be on Saturday. But anyway, that's that. And then the tip for the week, little tip. A little business tip, nothing major, but something like that helps with motivation and things like that, or how to organize yourself. And then the next thing is the general discussion about this YouTube channel. I'll help you. These are pretty good. If you're into jewelry making, these are really cutie and not too difficult to do. Even if it's kind of intermediate kind of. Beginner could do it too if you pay attention to detail. It's not a major thing. It's really cutesy to try. You should do it. You should try it, even if you're a beginner. All right then, see you in a little while. On to Shopify. My whole reason for living at the moment is with the intent of getting Shopify to go faster for me. My Parade Handmade website. I have employed an app to do this, to help me with this, called Loadify. And I pay a premium every month to have that. And it's good, very good. It lazy loads, it has lovely transitions to kind of help people not to get bored if they do have a little bit of a wait time, etc., etc., etc. And then on top of that, I was hoping that would fix my problem, but it's really brought it back up to where it was, the speed right back up to where it had been before I had it. I had it at about 26, and then it went down suddenly to about 11 or something stupid like that, 11 or 15. For some crazy reason, it had never been that slow. And I was like, this is ridiculous. It's just getting worse after all my efforts. So I just was determined that time, and I went straight in, had a look at the apps, got some recommendations, got Loadify and put it on the site and paid the money, because I know that Google will rate your site with regard to this. So if your site is slow, it's not going to be coming up as much as it might. So even if people are patient, like my regular customers, they know they're not in a mad rush. You know, not everybody wants to be rolling like crazy, but it's browsers who like to flick around a site and then zip off, and you want them to see as much as possible so that you can attract as much of their interest as possible. However, yeah, and then the people who would be familiar with your site, they don't mind so much. But it's the whole thing about Google. Google doesn't want it to be slow. And even if, say with Loadify, it's quick, it makes everything quicker. Great. I'm not going to get into the whys. It'll take too long, and I'm not techie minded, so it's not going to come across right. I understand it when I'm reading it. I understand what it's doing, but I'm not great at explaining techie things, as you may have gathered. So the thing is that it speeds up the site. It's very good. It does what it's supposed to do. But my only thing is, and I don't even know to what extent this happens, but on the first loading is a little bit slow. But after they have the cookies onto the phones, as is usual with all sites, the next time people come, it'll be super quick. It'll be much, much quicker. However, Google reads it brand new every time. I get lots and lots and lots of checks from all over the States, and all these Google depots all over the States, Council Bluffs and the like, lots and lots and lots of visits, checking pages and collections and this and that and the other. And they read and they take an average. It's a lighthouse average, they call it. They take an average of 3 pages, say your collections, your products, and something else. And if one of those is really slow, which could be the first page that opens on your site, that's it. You're slow, and you're down in the D department. That kind of thing. So I'm just very frustrated because I'm doing everything I think I can to that. So in the interest of this, I decided, all right, just bite the bullet and don't be worried about it. Try a new theme. There's a theme called Dawn, for example. It's a free theme as well. It's made for speed. So I downloaded the theme on the side and I customized it somewhat. And I haven't put it into action. I'm considering putting it into action. But first of all, I went into, before I haven't quite finished that, so it takes a little bit of time to do that. But on the other side of things, I was thinking, okay, I'll go into Loadify and I will take down all of those little, switch off all of the aids that it has, off, and see what the difference is. See, does it make much difference if I didn't have it in place for the theme that I have at the moment, which is pop. Now, considering about 2 years ago, I employed a business, a really good business, to help me with user UX, and which is user experience and various other things, blogging and such and such. My site was optimized for user experience. So I like my site. I like the way it is, but I'm still so nerdy about why isn't it getting any faster? And why does it slow down sometimes? Why is it not getting better with my efforts? It's really, really, really annoying me. So that's what I've done. I have the theme on the side. I popped into Loadify and I just thought, I don't think Loadify is really the problem here. Well, it's not the problem here. There are other things. So then what I did was I put that aside and said, okay, you have your theme there. You can work on that, get it better a little bit, and just, it might make a difference, but I just don't have the time right this second to do that. On the other hand, there are other problems on the site, as with all sites, that I could perhaps learn about and instigate, or at least get my head clear about what they are. And they are pretty much clear now, and then maybe get a Shopify expert who you can employ for a short amount of time to do a job for you if you don't feel that you really want to spend the time on it, or that you don't have the technical knowledge or acumen to carry it out. So I love to try things, but that doesn't mean it's always advantageous for me to do that. But even so, on a little drive that we were on recently, I customized the new theme, and I haven't got my colouring in yet, so I'll do that, get the right colouring, and just see. I might try that. Okay, the other thing was I looked into JavaScript and CSS, and basically finding it extra JavaScript, unused JavaScript. It's part of the coding at the back of the site, and every app involved. I'm rattling paper there. I'm annoying myself. I'm probably annoying you. So this JavaScript comes with apps. As again, I just remind you, I'm not techie minded. This is what I've come to understand. So there's extra JavaScript that runs, and that every time the pages are opened or someone arrives at the site, this JavaScript has to go back and forth and be parsed and all various other technical jargony words that I don't understand, but I know it's doing something to the data. And it's wasting time, basically. And the idea would be to get rid of any unused JavaScript. So one way to do that is get rid of apps, which we're doing. Apps that you don't use, that you don't really want, bells and whistles. Like I had a wish list there for a long while, thinking it would be a nice thing, because at the beginning they're saying, you come up with new apps all the time. Try this, it's going to be lovely. It's going to make your site so much lovelier. And people are going to be, and. But I read somewhere else recently, keep it to 5 apps, necessary apps. Now, I couldn't keep it to 5 apps, but I'm not going to do those other things, wish lists and all these mad other things that hardly anybody really, really bothers about. Not on our site. It's a different kind of site. It's a niche site, and it's not like populated by gazillions of people. It's just, some things are necessary, and it's horses for courses, basically. So I got rid of the wish list. And so the thing is to get rid of apps that you don't really, really need, and that are not really, really benefiting you or your site. You have to balance it between the speed you need and the actual productivity, what it is, not the productivity, but the bells and whistles, basically. You have to decide what's more necessary. So my thing is getting rid of the apps, which I've done fairly much. The odd one I'm kind of on the fence about, I'll have to see. Then you can get rid of all this extra JavaScript as well. So I'm going to, I'm not entirely sure. I might get a Shopify expert to help me here. I might. I've never done it before. And I'm always reluctant because I always just want to do it myself, and I'm afraid it's going to cost loads of money. It's probably not. I've already put lots of money into the site. I'm still putting money into the site, and I'll continue to, but I don't want to be putting it in for random things that I could probably do myself. So there are various techniques for doing this. So you can find it. It's kind of a search tool in developer tools. I think you can do Chrome developer tools, and they have a search thing for unused JavaScript and CSS. It's another, don't ask me, coding thing. I don't know. But you can find it and get rid of it, the bits that you don't need. So I think, considering my lack of techie whizness, I might just be better to get yes, I think I might do that. I'll let you know how that goes. So that's what I've been doing. Most of all, I've been really racking my brains as to how to get the site faster. Oh, another way was to not have too much weight. Say you're just showing 16 pieces of a collection. Say you have a homepage and you want to show that, basically the homepage, people go to the homepage and they see some images. You don't want to be having hundreds of pictures on there that keep coming up in the background but are not showing. If you have only arranged for your viewers to see 12 pictures, it's just weight moving back across the whole time. So just make your collections nice and tight and things like that. So I'm going to tidy up my site. The other thing I'm going to do is, I was looking at of the people, this is another thing, it's not really related to speed, but it is related to user experience and conversions. If you're getting traffic, but you're not getting as many conversions as you like at a given time, consider your navigation system. You might want to tidy it up a bit. If a person comes on and it's all very confusing and there's too much to choose from, there's too leggy, too many places to go, they'll just buzz off and get an easier thing. They'll go somewhere easier. So I'm thinking, for my site, do I really need as many choices down the side? I think they said limited to about 10. So in the main menu. So I have a lot more than that. So I'm thinking I might narrow that up somewhat, and then perhaps have a kind of a filtering system or something like that. So that's all in my mind about Shopify. I'm just going to have a glance here at my list, just see is there anything I'm really missing. I think I've got it all there. Oh yeah, no, one more thing. The Google Analytics 4 thing that they're warning everybody about at the moment. It's driving me nuts. It's driving me absolute nuts, because when I see something needs to be done, I want to do it. I want to do it right away. So I'm tackling it. I'm going to do it this afternoon. If I can get my little video here edited and sorted and up. Tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day. I thought it was on Saturday, so I'm kind of tighter this week. I'm telling you, I'm going around in circles some days. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to tackle the Google Analytics. Maybe not this week, maybe next week, but I have started, and it's on the move. I may have to get a Shopify expert to finish it off for me. I've created, there are a few parts to it, and I've got 4 parts out of 12 done. I did it myself. So I think if I sit quietly and just focus on it, I could do more, but I sincerely think that an expert is going to get me through it much quicker, and it might just be the best way to go. Again, I'll tell you how that goes. So that's it. That's it for the Shopify discussion this week. I'll just have a quick glance, just make 120% sure. I know that's not a possible number. No, I'm just going to leave it there. Ta-da! Going now onto the fun part. I made these little earrings for a friend of mine. She had a lovely headscarf on, and I thought they would be a nice little bunch, like cherries or something like that. But I made these little berry earrings, little clusters, and I have a little DIY thing now for you. So I hope that you will keep watching. This is what you're going to need to make these earrings. You can make them if you like. Earring designs are so infinite, I'm not going to worry. If you want to make a few pairs and sell them, it's grand. Or if you want to just make them for yourself, fire away. So floristry wire or some kind of thin gauge wire that you can, and that's a nice colour. It's kind of peacock colour, dark. It's black, but it's, as you see, it's got kind of colours going through it. But it doesn't really matter. A little bit of wire, nice and bendy, thin. you know, your earring hooks, a couple of head pins. You need more than that actually. You need a little pile of head pins. Straight ones with a straight top will do fine, or you can have them with loops. Better with a straight top actually. Jump rings, oval ones if you can. I always prefer oval ones because this little, you know, the little holes on the side, so all your hooks can kind of, loops can hang down here and they don't fall out, you know, the bottom. If the hole gets to the bottom, because, you know, being an oval, it'll kind of stick on the side most of the time. And a little collection of beads. Doesn't really matter what color. You can get red ones if you have red ones. You can get wooden ones and paint them red. You can roll up a bit of clay and make holes and use them, etc, etc, etc. So that's it. A few bead caps. They're different bead caps to the one I've used. That's the one I've used. I have one left of that. Maybe I'll make a little pendant or something with that one. But yeah, so I have these ones. I have other ones as well, but just something that you can hide the workings in a little bit. And with these ones, I don't know if you've seen these before, you know, you can always squeeze them in a little bit. You can use a lot of things. You could use just an upturned little cup shape bead either, or you could do the wire wrapping over the top of the workings. You don't actually need a bead cap at all. That's another thing. I mean, it's just endless. It's a bit like doodling. So there you go. And then your pliers. And so you're going to need a little snips like this one, a gripper, something to hold with a smooth inside there. That's nice and smooth. There's no what you call them, the grips. There's no grips in there. Similarly with this one, this is a more pointy affair. I have another nice one where we filed it, the royal we, my husband filed it here and the top, so it's very narrow at the bottom, and it does really well for me, you know, to manage small things. And then of course the round nose plier is really handy with this kind of wire work and that. And pretty much that's it. Make sure you have plenty of head pins, or at least a little bit slightly stiffer wire than the floristry wire, so that you can work with it. But try not to be like me and get something like a crowbar that you're trying to get your beads onto. Okay, great. I'm going to just make it close. So I'm just going to make a ring. So I move up the post a little bit like that with the round nose pliers, back around, and if you do it in one movement, you can kind of easier. So bend it over like that, bend it back, and then I bend that back up straight. I don't know if you've seen that. I'm not really trying to give you a lesson. I'm just kind of showing you what I'm at. So I might do a proper, a link maybe later to another video I've done about how to actually make earrings as a lesson. This is more like a bit of crack. So what I'll do is, I'll show you now. There's effort to get. But anyway, the thing is, then you tighten that in at the top, and you just make sure your wire's nicely tucked in, and it is. And yeah, and you can straighten it up then later. Am I even in the screen, in the frame? In the frame. There you go. That's one little bead. So, whoops, can we get it in focus? Probably better off staying where I was. Anyway, get the picture. So I'm going to do that with the rest of them. I'm going to stop here. Now, so there's a little bead cap. The trick to that is I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to use it or not. So I'll show you the beads first. Get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this. So there should have been 2 of those. I'll get another one in a minute. So look, I did 3 of the berry style, the ones that are like a little red currant. Go from the other side where the light is. And then I did 2 of those those ones, same size, about 8mm, I think. And then there's a little titchy one as well. So it's nice to have the variation, but I don't know exactly how many I'm going to use, what's going to look right. And at first I was going to use this link, but when I realized then that it won't even fit up through there. And I like this. I might use this. I may not use it at all, but we shall see. So I'm going to keep these out anyhow. And instead, I'm going to use a head pin with a loop on the end of it. Now you can make that yourself from a plain one. As I was saying earlier, this is so thick, this wire, and really hard underneath. So it's hard to manipulate. Yeah, I don't know why I would ever buy anything that thick. It's about 0.5 or 0.8 gauge millimeter. I'm just slipping off the top of it. So that's a straight piece of wire. And then you go for about 3/4 centimeter from the top, push it back on the round nose plier, and then you grab the tip of it upside down. You put your hand upside down, and you grab the tip of it, You hold everything nice and tight and you just turn it around the bottom arm of your round nose pliers all the way. Then you get yourself a little question mark then loop. So there you have one. So if you don't have one, you know, in a packet, you can make one for yourself. But so I have one here. So I'm hoping to connect all these up. When they're connected in a bunch, I'm going to pop them up through the center, and hopefully enough of the workings will hide in there a certain amount. I know they won't all. Maybe they'll just be there even, and it might be hidden enough. So I'm going to turn off and give that a little shot and see how it goes. All right. Yeah, I pushed my luck there. I popped all of these on to the end of that. I had opened up the little loop, popped them all on, and of course, I even thought for a second there were too many to fit on. So what I'm going to do is I have attached one of those larger links that I have, the oval one, which wouldn't fit into the bead cap a minute ago, but partially it might. So let's have another go at this. So you hold it like that in one of your grippers, and then you get the other one, pliers, and smooth on the inside so it doesn't damage the wire too much. And then you just open them like that. You don't open them like a bag of crisps because it weakens the wire. It undermines the wire on the bend. So that's fine. So I'm going to just put them on alternately. I'm going to put the solid one there, the glassy one there, then the little solid one. And then I'll go again. The glassy one, like a berry. They're all like berries, but you know. The solid one of the same size. And then the little berry. Or maybe little berry. Yeah. Maybe I'll put a glass one on first. I'll put a glass one on and put a little berry on the outside, hopefully. It depends. You wouldn't know how they're going to fall, you see. So what I'm going to do now is just close that. I hope that wasn't too far near the top of the thingamajig for you to see. I'm going to just get a grip of the wire, bring it back together. Whoops, just make sure they're kind of even. Now, that's a nice little cluster. That's a sweet little cluster. So I'm going to put it up through here. See what that looks like. Well, you know. Do you know what? Oh, there you go. That's not too bad. I think that's kind of cutie. Now, I would like to hide this, but what I'm going to do is, so it's kind of reminiscent of brambles. I'm going to do a little bit of a wire twist around there underneath and just see what that looks like. So what I'll do first is I'll close this off. I can undo it if I don't like it later. If I think it's too much and I want a smaller loop. Actually, do you know something? Here you go. What I am going to do is let them all fall to the bottom. Just hold your wire of your bead. God, I keep doing that. Of your bead, your head pin. Just hold them so they're dangling. And your oval bead, your oval link is dangling as well. And then basically what you're trying to do is go from side to side and give it a little squeeze because that'll narrow it up a little bit. I'm going to hold it. Look, it's harder than it looks to try and demonstrate these little small details, but anyway, I'll get used to it. Now, I'm going to just squeeze it. So they're all on there, and that actually tightens up the loop. Kind of straightens up the wire for you and gives it a better streamlined feeling. Now look, that's better. Golly, maybe I don't have to put wire on. Could be nice though. A little bit of wire. I think I'm going to try it anyway. You know what? I'm going to squeeze that little link again. I think there's more room to squeeze it, and I might even go up further. A bit more pointy. But no, squeeze over the hole where the gap closes so that they're both staying closed for you. It's a bit tricky because it kind of snaps out of sync if you're not careful. So just get the ball. Mind your fingers. You don't squeeze your fingers. So I'll do it again now. Whoa, let me see. Right, it's still closed. I think I won't mess with it anymore though. In you go, and it is as it is. It's kind of cute. You know what? That's just lovely actually. So what I'm going to do now is I could put a bead on. There are always alternative things to do. I could slide a bead on there and then do a loop, but I'm just going to do a loop directly. What I'll do is I'll do almost to the bottom. Same way as we did the earrings a moment ago, except for I'm not going to bend them back. Hold them toward the bottom, not quite on top of the bead cap, just so there's room for the wire twist. And then I'm going to bend it back toward me around one of the legs of the round nose pliers all the way around. so that you get a loop. And then before you do any bending or anything, you just push this back around further. And then you see what happens is your loop, I don't know if you can see that, can you? Is sideways. Do you see that? So you just need to straighten it. And then with this wire or pliers, you grasp it. And then the other pliers, which is a little bent one, which I like to use, this is good for this manipulation. You grab it and you just hold everything nice and tight. And if you hold it nice and tight with a little bit of resistance, you're able to get a nice, neat coil. Just do it a little bit so that you don't get too near your bead cap. Hold it nice and tight and snip it very close to the wire. Try not to let the wire fly all over the room, and watch your eyes. Now, and then squeeze that down. Try not to squeeze your bead cap as well. Just squeeze it against the wire so that it's nicely tucked in. You don't have any little bits sticking out that can hurt you. Can you see that even? I think you're going to have to get some high-tech thingies. Anyway, there you go. So that's my little earring. Now I'll repeat that on the other side, but meanwhile I'm going to try and do a little bit of wire work with this. So what I might do is this, I'll just take a piece. I'm going to take it the length of this. This is just so I have each earring. So I'll go the length of that. It doesn't matter the length of it. It just means I know the length for the other one. And in fact, what I'll do is, yeah, I'll just do 2 pieces the same. There you go. And then there'll be no messing later on. So just pull them out. Don't have to be exact because the inspectors aren't out, as I like to say. If you're a person who likes it to be exact, that's fine. And now what I like to do is make sure the bottom part, the very first part, is tucked in so that it's not going to hurt you or anybody else. In fact, what you could do is, like for an earring, like we just did, you can straighten that out again. Go for an earring. It's a bit like a wire twist for the end of an earring. Hold it about there, bend it over, and then just do a bit of twisting. Then you have a smooth end. You still have to tuck the other little bit of wire in, but I will do that now, nice and small here. So you've got something to work with as well. Now, that'll be nice and hidden in with the design. So you don't have a sharp piece that could stick in someone or stick in their hair or later on. And similarly, you can do it on the other end of the piece. So hold it like that, twist it down. A bit like, you know what, this is light wire, so it's a bit like, you know, those sandwich closure wires thingies. I don't like using them though. Awful. I don't know why I don't like using them. They're fiddly, I suppose. And this isn't. So now, anyway, I can't believe this. I'm going to probably have to fast forward this when I'm looking back, when I'm editing. So tuck that in and it's done. Okay, now, just so for wrapping around your earrings. There's no real way of doing this actual one. I like to secure that somewhere. So I'm just going to stick it through one of those hoops in the way. So if I can squeeze that nice and tight, hang on a minute. In you go. Squeeze that a bit so it's not, because the loop is quite big. Okay, now in you go somewhere, just somewhere nice and hidden. Right. Give it a squeeze or a twist if they're long enough, if you can get it through long enough. Let me see, can I give it a little bit of a twist? Yeah, just a little bit. There now. That's not going to come out. Much better. And you can flatten down the other wires then eventually. So now my idea was, hopefully a good idea, is just sort of neatly but not too tightly kind of wiggle around your beads, especially up around the bottom where the bottom of the bead cap is. Just like that. What I could have done was make a little wiggle in the wire before, just to give it a little bit of texture. but I'm just doing this because I'm just playing here. So here you go. If I was designing for to sell in the shop, I'd probably, really go to town on it. But this is just a little surprise for Paddy's Day, which is Friday, I just discovered. Right, and I don't know. I like that they're a little, yeah. See, I like that they're, I'm going to go around that one. I want to be able to see some of the wire. I don't want it to be hidden or anything. It's not. Now, and it's kind of taken away the looseness of the bunch, so I'm not entirely thrilled with that part of it. But the look is kind of nice. I could have added in a little bit of greenery too. Tell you what, oh no, it's kind of cute. It is kind of cute. Look. Oh, these came out so pretty. Put a little sterling hook on. And do you know, they came out a little bit more elaborate than I intended. Because of the bead cap and the wire wrap. I didn't intend that, but look at them. I really think they're cutie. They do take a little while to make. You wouldn't like knock them out very quickly, but they're really sweet. I'd like to. So now back to the tip of the week. The tip of the week, again, it's sort of to do with productivity, but it's to do with just calming your mind and getting through your work. If you're like me and your head is bouncing everywhere, like a magnet to every new idea or every little problem, and you want to get it all done in one big bite, obviously that can't be done. So yes, you need to plan, but this is more to do with calming your mind. So what I do is I take a big tablet. No, I don't. What I do is, say I have 4 things to do today, like I want to do Google Analytics. I want to finish knitting that hat for my friend. I want to start knitting a jumper for my husband. I want to edit this video and get it up to YouTube. And I want to finish my cards. I have to do a little bit of a sticker for the inside, which will take me all of about 20 minutes, but I need to sit down and do it. And there's a couple of other things. Basically, what I do, and what is a good idea to do for if you're like me, is to just write them down in order of importance first. Just in order of importance, write them down, and maybe put down how long it's going to take you to do, or how long you would like it to take. Allocate a little bit of time to each one. So let's say the video, that's going to take probably at least 2 hours. If I'm swift about it and I don't go overboard with putting too much information extra, but put the right amount in, put a right amount of time in, because that's an important one. So let's just say 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours for the YouTube video, then 20 minutes with a cup of coffee for the cards. Just get that little job out of the way. And then maybe, blah, blah, blah. But the main thing here is to allocate the time. And when that's done, that's the way you're going to do it. You can stop, call off the dogs, as they say. You can stop bouncing around thinking about things that you should do, ought you, could do, would do. Follow each item and enjoy the time that you've allocated for that and luxuriate in that, because all of this is a big dream for me. I'm like swimming in the nicest possible area of work life, and I need to enjoy it more. So that's what I try to do. I try to put the plan in place and then focus on that thing. And there's nothing more enjoyable than the feeling of all is well, the plan is working, you're getting things done in a calm way, and your head isn't bouncing all over the planet. So I hope that helps you a little bit. It helps me as long as I can follow it. So go for it. The YouTube channel discussion. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure where to go with this. I'm working away, as you know, on finding out what people actually like and where their interest peaks and dips, etc., etc. And a lot of this can be found, this information can be found in analytics. And because it's a very early days channel, there isn't a lot of user experience data. But there's quite a bit now already. There's quite a bit of information that you can glean from watchers and subscribers, and where you get them from, what's working, what's not, etc., etc. So there's plenty to go on. So the other thing that's of interest to me is because, of course, I'm craft orientated, creativity orientated, and I like to dabble in a lot of different areas, and then I'm probably better at some areas than I would be at others, as in more expert, or I've had more professional experience in lots of sales and such and such. And I just keep going, developing. It's like an avarice thing. But I'd like to be able to show that. So it's the DIY videos. The DIY videos are tricky, and I'm going to try one here. Or you've seen I've already done one here. I've done them before, but not a whole lot. It takes a lot of organization, a lot of planning, a lot of, how would you say, just a bit of organization with your camera and the lighting and the situation and the position you put yourself in, and then you have to break it down. Breaking down creativity isn't my most favorite occupation. I like to do it, show it, chat, showing it on a video, pulling it apart, writing it in steps, all that. It drives me nuts, actually. But I can see the benefit of it for people. So that's something I'm trying to do, and I'm trying to do it better. And what I do notice is I'm kind of dragging my heels a little bit in how much effort I need to make. Whereas I should really just get off my ass and make a huge effort and then pare it back from there, rather than creeping up and then getting a bit better and then making a bit more effort, with table and lighting and position and place and all that. So who knows, that could work out. So the other thing is, when you're creating your video, it's good to look up your titles and your your titles and your keywords before you make your video, so you're making it for people who are actually searching for that thing. But it's driving me nuts. It's in Google Analytics. If you go into Google Analytics and you go up into research up on the top left hand corner, that helps you pop in. You can pop in your words that are related to what you're doing, and then you can see a lot of suggestions. I won't go into that because they've explained it very well, but I used to use just the normal toolbar or search bar in Google search. Or you can go into incognito mode if you like, but it's not really necessary, and just search away, and you can see other things that people search for. In fact, I might do that later on for this video again. But I went into the YouTube studio anyway and went into research and did it, and it drove me nuts. It kind of just got me down. Before I even start filming this, I'm like, oh God, because the things that people are doing, they're like, the 5 best ways to do this, how to make your first million in blah, the best way, blah, the only way, the best way, I know the way. I mean, I don't know the way. I barely know the way for myself without telling other people the way that I say that they have to do it. I couldn't maintain it, even if I thought I knew sort of the way. I do a video and then that'll be it. That'll be the way would be told. So that kind of freaked me out a bit, because it's not what I was looking for when I went online. I do go online on YouTube to find out how to do things, how to fix a washing machine, how to put a seal in a washing machine, or how to, things like that. Or what did I do? I've been YouTube a few. Oh, how to bake various things, maybe bake a cake. And if it's a YouTube video, maybe. Oh, do you know what I would have done? A friend and I actually have a great time around Christmas, and we go into all the crafty things for like as though it's a movie. So we sit there and we have a nice glass of Prosecco and some Christmassy thing and some nice goodies and a bit of lunch. And we watch, how to do these random crafts that we hadn't done before that we'd like to maybe try, pottery and I don't know, just random things that you're just interested in at the time. Because we're both really, really into trying out new things and seeing what we can do with them and see can we incorporate them into what we do already and such and such. So that's how I would look. But for this, when I was looking for business, when I wanted to have a look about my business, how to help, I don't actually know how I found some of them. What was a real exact search? I can't remember what the search was, but it wasn't a how-to. And it wasn't how to do something in business. And it wasn't how, I kind of generally just get in and do it myself. I know I'm just not like other people. I'm like me, but I do need help. I'm not saying I don't need help. And it's not that. It's just, I know I always have a different approach from other people. It's just how I am. I kind of read a little bit about it in a book last night. I go in and I learn from the bottom up. So I don't have kind of an overview of what's going on. I learn from the bottom up and I make all these connections, and then eventually I have this kind of tapestry of what I know and whatever works for me. And then I get a bit of help from someone from the outside. I don't go to an enormous course for 4 years to learn something. I've done that before and it didn't get me anywhere. But the way I do it now gets me places. Fabulous places. No, but I understand what I mean. So I went in and I didn't want a how-to. I just wanted to see, I wanted company. That's what I wanted. I wanted a bit of company. I wanted a bit of support in a sense of I was here every day. I was doing what I was doing. I was making my things. I was promoting them on the sites. And I came across these people who are in Etsy, and I wasn't in Etsy at the time. I am now, but I wasn't in Etsy at the time. I had a website, but it was pretty much the same lifestyle, a handmade creative lifestyle where you promote your goods, and I happen to promote other people's goods as well. Not just anybody's, but it was kind of a small group from the locality here that we had in a shop, and one or two other people that I know. I don't provide a service, for the world or for the full of Ireland or anything like that. And so it's quite a lot of work, but I love it. It's sometimes it's a labor of love at certain times of year, but it's all part of it, and it's all a learning experience, and I really love it. And I love to be able to help the people promote themselves who would never go and do this. I can't believe I'm doing this. This is not really my thing. I mean, if anyone who knows me, who knew me from before, would think, what's she doing with all this computer stuff? I mean, she's not a bit computery. I had a friend who was a major computer buff when we were young, and I used to say, he was lovely, but I used to say, now you have 2 minutes to talk about this, and then we're finished, okay? Because my eyes would glaze over with the subject. So I'm not really naturally into this, but I'm doing it. But really, really, really what I wanted was company and familiarity, in a sense of someone to identify with in the journey. And I wasn't copying them. I don't want to see their work necessarily so I can do anything like them. I hate the feeling that I'm copying someone. I don't want to copy anyone. We're all influenced by everybody else, but I definitely do not want to be in a position where my ideas are just ideas of someone else channeled through me. That would really annoy me. I want to have my own ideas and develop them and come out with whatever I've got, so that I can stand over them and know for sure this is my idea. Now, if I saw something that someone else did and I thought that I could make something in my way that I would need for me, fine, because all hats and necklaces and anything else, like, you're not reinventing the wheel, as they say. You have to put your own spin on things and do things in the way that suits you and your mentality. But back to the YouTube search. So this kind of really freaked me out when I was looking in this research. It's like, how to do this, the best 5 ways, the this, that, and the other. And you know what? I just threw it there. I said, right, I'm just going to do my video as before, put it out to the same people, and thank you very much. I've got 18 subscribers, and it's brilliant, and I'm thrilled. I've just frightened the cats. That's why I'm usually keep my voice low enough, because the cats are all sleeping around. But anyway, I have my 18 subscribers, and I'm thrilled. So I'm going to see how they get on with my videos, and I'm going to try a few different things. Like today I tried the beads, and I would like to in the future make more DIY videos, and I think my husband's going to help me with that, which would be great, because it's hard to keep the motivation up, and it's hard to get all the gear out and all the equipment and get yourself ready. And I'm looking a bit different today, by the way, because I was to meet a friend and we couldn't do it because of we forgot it was Paddy's Day tomorrow, and there's a lot going on in town. There wouldn't be parking, maybe, not sure if there is, but we just said, look, we'll leave it till next week. So I'm kind of disappointed, because it was about a half an hour to go, and she was right, and absolutely right, and I needed the time anyway, so there's always something else to do. So I'm wearing a dress, my hair's down and washed and down, it's not dry yet, and yeah, anyway, so that's why I'm looking different today. I'm usually a bit more practical than this. So there you go, that's it with the YouTube. I won't bore you anymore with that, and yeah, good luck with your things, good luck with your projects, and don't forget to comment down below if there's anything DIY, like crafty wise, or that you might think you might like to know about. And if I know about it, I'll tell you. Jewellery making, beaded jewellery making, or even any other questions that you have related to what's going on, and I'll see if I can answer a few. And it'll help me navigate to know what's interesting for people and what might be a good idea to share. So again, good luck with your projects. Go for it, and just keep chipping away and keep consistent.